Well, I think the best consumer certainly is an educated consumer, and whether it's Consumer Reports, Money Magazine, or even the local papers which list banking rates, I think all of us as consumers have to start spending more time finding out what we're actually being charged. And so the first step is education. The second step is probably options, and realizing that this is probably a wave of the future. More and more people are being driven towards credit unions and also towards online banking.
I want to talk to you a little bit about those credit unions. Is going with a credit union a better idea now?
I think for a lot of people it may be. In fact, if the folks that were joining us earlier on the live chat are any indication, everyone's leaving their bank that tries to charge them a single fee. And almost all of them who responded said that their first reaction or response was going to go to a credit union. Underlying, I mean, it is exciting. He signs into law. He gets to fly off to Hawaii, all that kind of good stuff. But there are really two issues that don't necessarily hit the presses immediately. One is that this is only a 2-month extension. So there's been a reduction in play already for the last year or so, and it's going to continue for another 2 months, but 2 months only. So within the next 2 months, Congress has to go back and figure out what are they going to do from here. The secondary issue is that we're taking money away from an already unfunded system via Social Security. We know it's going to go bankrupt at some point in 2020s, and now it's just going to go bankrupt a little bit faster unless we figure out how to pay for it. I think one of the first questions I would ask is what she's borrowing the money for. But let's assume that she's borrowing the money for a purpose that we would all agree is a good idea. I think it's certainly a fine time to be doing that. 401ks have this tremendous provision that allow you to borrow your own money back, usually at a very small interest rate, typically 5%, and on a monthly basis you pay that interest back to yourself. Now if you choose not to pay it back, then after a period of time, typically 5 years, that amount you took out is going to be taxable to you. But if it's for a good purpose, utilizing a 401k's loan provisions can be a great way to accelerate wealth and or a great way to buy something that you really need. Businesses may not want them to do that, but they could take some stuff back. Garage sales are always a great thing. Internet sales, selling things on eBay, that's become so popular the last few years, and most of us have tons of stuff laying around our house we could easily get rid of and part with some of those things. I think that's a great way, great option to raise some money. Well, the information that's been released so far doesn't give us all of those answers, but what we do know is that if someone owns a home and they owe more than they own, or the mortgage balance is greater than the value of the home, they may qualify under this program. Additionally, if they have not missed a mortgage payment in the last 12 months, or if they're current on their mortgage and they haven't missed one in the last 12 months, they would also qualify.
Well, John, how soon could this actually take effect, and how would people start applying for this kind of help?
The expectation is for this plan to go into effect the middle of November. It is not clear yet whether or not you need to contact your current mortgage holder, or if you can go to any bank or mortgage broker to apply for the new refinance, and those details will be coming out in the next few weeks.
Okay, now I've been reading some of these questions here in some chats on blogs and such about this is all kind of a political ploy that the president is pulling right now. Do you believe that? Well, where do you think that this is coming from, and does it even really matter at this point?
Well, it is political season, so I think we have to ask ourselves when anything comes out, you know, is there a political motivation behind it? And that may or may not be the case. I can't see, however, that this particular plan, motivated however it is, helps either party, whether they be Democrat or Republican, because I think the people who ultimately can take advantage of it are going to be bipartisan in nature. So I don't think there's necessarily a political motivation or a political gain. I think it's actually just a good bill that's going to create some opportunity for people to get out from under some currently bad mortgages.